So those who've watched the channel for a while know that XRP is definitely one of the holdings that I'm pretty excited about, and I've been doing really well with it. I bought around the 53-cent level. I had an ongoing joke for a while that XRP seemed like a 53-cent stablecoin for the longest time because it always seemed to be 53 cents whenever I checked. Well, that got up to about a 6x. It's pulled back down now, sitting at about 280, but we got some really good news. And then I want to watch we're going to react to a video that a friend of the channel has shared. I haven't watched it, so it's going to be a complete live reaction, but let's see this good news first. Breaking: Japanese gaming company confirms they will purchase 2.5 billion yen worth of XRP. Is this the beginning of a Japanese company buying XRP? Comment below. And I know this is solid. I saw the Wolf of All Streets tweeting about it as well, Scott Melker. So it seemed pretty solid. Our company has resolved to purchase 2.5 billion yen worth of XRP. The exchange rates kind of changed, but that used to be like 200. Wait, hold on. No, it would have been 25 million yen. But it's probably actually less than that because the yen is probably, I think it's like 140 or 150 to, what's the exchange rate? Let's look that up really quick. Yeah, it's about 17 million. So, okay, $17 million worth of XRP, still a lot as part of its growth strategy for the blockchain business. Yeah, I wanted to look that up because it used to be like, and you probably still do this to a rough extent, you would just get more buying power. But my factor was always to take a price in yen when I was in Japan and just move the decimal place 2 places back. So if it was 1,000 yen, that's like $10. And same thing if it's like 10,000 yen, that's $100, et cetera, et cetera. So you just take the decimal place and move it 2 spots over. And that's roughly, I mean, if I was in Japan, that's roughly how I would think about it. I would just have more buying power now. So anyway, through contributing to the expansion of the XRP ecosystem, which plays an important role in the international remittance and liquidity network strategy, primarily promoted by SBI Holdings, we aim to expand revenue opportunities in that business. I mean, that is decent, but will barely move the needle. Yeah, it sounds like a lot more, but when you do the conversion, of course, it's only 17 million, which is still a lot, and it's a good, I mean, for a gaming company, I don't know much about Gummy. I don't know what games they make. But that's not insignificant. I mean, if you should be happy about that if you're, do I follow this person? I guess not. This is the one I'm not sure of. It says, you know, MasterCard just called XRP a bridge currency in their latest report. They don't throw words around like that by accident. They know something. I don't know. Is this true? Let's explore this. Well, I do see the XRP MasterCard Gemini allows XRP users to earn 7,800 a day. That seems like a lot. So XRP, I will say MasterCard is doing a lot of partnerships with blockchain lately. Algorand has its one with the Peril wallet. With still waiting for that to go live in the US, hopefully by the end of the year. Hope they get on that. That's a big deal. But you're seeing a lot of other we've covered a lot of blockchain partnerships with XRP. I don't see that specifically, but I do see this exchange partnership, which is pretty interesting. Now, this one, I don't know if you guys, yeah, see, he also, Wolf of All Streets did, Scott Melker did report that, so I think it's a little more solid. And then, fun fact, a comet smells like rotten eggs, urine, burning matches, and almonds. Most scientists say the closest comparison to this would be the phenomenon on Earth is the idea that tokens called XRP could be sold off to retail investors with the illusion that a digital bank drive-up tube is worth more than the money it transfers back and forth because there are just only so many tokens in existence and everyone will want one because the banking systems of the world have been quietly making deals for over a decade to make XRP the replacement for Swift. And the president is sleeping with Brad Garlic Mouse. Good grief. Funny how you all know all the smells of a comet, but not the smells of profit. This guy is like, okay, so whoever runs the Litecoin account just tweets out some wild stuff. Say what you want about XRP, but like, I'm up still 4.5x, so I can't really complain about XRP. And you know, the fun thing about fundamentals is they're not as important in crypto as you might think. I think they will be one day, but they're not today. By the way, just a reminder, BitBoy apparently is back, which is wild. I don't know why he's back, but he's back. But let's move on to, where's this video? Uh-oh. All right, so we're going to react to this video. It's pretty short.
Here's a hot
I
take
believe, I don't,
loud.
oh, stop it. I hate when you pause a video and then it plays anyway. It's so irritating. Yeah, we're going to watch this video. Like I said, it's pretty short. I put it on 1.25, so it goes a little quicker. But DB, he's a friend of the channel. Oh, I'm not subscribed. I should subscribe to him for sure. And yeah, we're gonna see what he has to say. Like I said, I haven't watched this video, so I don't know what he's gonna say.
Here's a hot take you're not supposed to say out loud. XRP might be one of the most overrated assets in all of crypto, and I don't say that lightly. Right now, XRP is trading like it's destined to become the backbone of global finance, and many will tell you that it is. Yet the fundamentals look more like a bloated legacy project with centralized baggage and shrinking relevance. You've heard the hype, partnerships, banks, RippleNet, blazing fast transactions. But what if I told you banks don't even need the token? What if XRP is being held up by outdated narratives and aggressive insider marketing?
Well, I'm concerned about this for blockchains in general. We're seeing a trend where there's a lot of companies that just are not that interested in public blockchains. And we see stuff like the Google news, I think we'll cover in a little bit after we get through our XRP segment. They're building their own like blockchain, and it's centralized and permissioned. And I think some of these big companies want that. We had that with TravelX and Algorand. They just said, you know, the major airlines were like, well, we want to work with you, but we don't want to be on the public blockchain. They had to ditch Algorand. So it might be true of XRP, but it's probably true for a lot of things. And that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be a bad investment. But yeah, let's move on and see what he has to say.
We're about to break this down piece by piece, no fluff and no sugarcoating. We're talking total supply mechanics, centralized ownership, and some very uncomfortable truth about Ripple's control over the network. And yes, stick around until the end because I'll show you my 2025 XRP prediction. I've run the numbers, dug through the reports, and what I found might make you rethink your portfolio. Spoiler alert, it's not bullish. But here's the kicker. Most retail investors still have no clue. Let me show you why, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's talk numbers, because XRP's valuation doesn't just defy logic, it laughs in its face. At its peak, XRP had a market cap of over $210 billion. That's more than many public companies with real revenue, customers, and audited books. But here's the twist. That market cap, it's built on a supply illusion. XRP has a max supply of 100 billion tokens, and almost half aren't even circulating. Ripple controls tens of billions that are locked in escrow or dripping into the market over time. That's not scarcity, that's slow motion dilution. Imagine buying a stock in a company that can triple the shares overnight. That's XRP, and it gets...
Here's the problem though. I think a lot of that doesn't matter. It's because scarcity, people talk about the scarcity side of it, and this is something I've been harping on a lot lately. People talk about the scarcity side of it, but they don't talk about the demand side of it. You can have like a super scarce. I can have, I'm trying to think of like something that's PC, but I can have like I can have the last like dilapidated Pinto on Earth. Well, maybe that's a bad. Let's say there's like 20 Pintos left on Earth. It might have some value because of its scarcity, but it's also not an in-demand car. So like probably no one will care. The only reason people are going after Oh, here's a good example. I saw a Pontiac Fiero the other day, and I'm like, I was just thinking, like, nobody's like excited about a Pontiac Fiero. So they're still like, I imagine if you found one, I don't think it'd be super expensive. Same thing with like some of these older like Trans Ams and stuff. There just isn't demand, even though they're scarce because there's just fewer and fewer of them. You know, they're not making new ones and old ones get destroyed, but the demand isn't there to like drive the price through the roof. Some of the DeLoreans are going for a lot because they have the cool factor from being a part of Back to the Future, and they already stopped making them when the car was in Back to the Future. So my whole point here is like scarcity. You can't take it by itself. You know, Ethereum can keep making Ethereum. There's no cap on Ethereum, and the price of Ethereum goes up. So I get what he's saying. I just don't think it matters the way people think it matters.
Worse, its fully diluted valuation is pushing $280 billion. That's not just inflated, it's delusional, especially for a token with no organic demand outside of speculation. And yet retail buyers get tricked by the low unit price. They think it's cheap. It's not. It's a mirage. And XRP, it's built on numerical smoke and mirrors.
It's all speculation. You know, all of crypto is speculation. A big part of stocks, frankly, are speculation. When you see like what happened with GameStop, it skyrocketed, and there was zero value to GameStop. It was a dying company, and so I get his point, but so much about crypto right now is speculation. Otherwise, why would you see something like Fartcoin take off, or Pengu, Pudgy Penguins, or all that other stuff? These coins take off because of speculation. It's pretty much the basis of the crypto market right now. So he's saying that about XRP, and I get that, but I think that's true for just about every coin. Like Solana, I mean, Solana has some of the worst fundamentals. It has like one of the worst, you know, it's been down all the time. It doesn't have reliability, and yet it's still one of the higher valued coins. Like, that's the crypto market.
Just clever enough to fool people who don't know what they're buying. Let me ask you something. How decentralized can a cryptocurrency be if one company controls nearly half of it? Ripple owns over 40 billion XRP, and they've historically dumped billions into the open market. That's not decentralization. It's a corporate treasury in crypto clothing. XRP was pre-mined. Ripple created the supply, and they kept most of it. They release XRP from escrow to fund operations. Translation? They sell tokens to retail to pay the bills. It's like printing stock, minus shareholder approval. And it
I mean, that probably sounds familiar to Algorand people, right? Like they've been structured selling again, it looked like. So yeah, it's that part isn't super great.
It's sketchy. XRP's consensus model, it's neither proof of stake nor proof of work. It's a Ripple approved validator club, not a decentralized network. Now think about this. Can you name another decentralized asset where the founding company controls the majority of supply, the validators, and the PR narrative? You can't, because this setup is unique to XRP and not in a good way. Compare that to Bitcoin or Ethereum, open, permissionless, battle tested. With XRP, Ripple calls the shots. And when that much power sits with insiders, do you really want to be the liquidity when they decide to cash out? And my favorite part, XRP fans love to shout, but the banks are using it, as if that alone validates the entire project. Let's get this straight. RippleNet and XRP are not the same thing. Ripple sells software to banks, but the actual XRP token, hardly any institution touches it. Most of Ripple's partners don't use the token at all. They use messaging APIs and fiat rails. Here's the real.
So this would be interesting. What if XRP did what Chainlink did? Because Chainlink, we just talked about the Chainlink reserve, where they take off-chain revenue and pour it into the coin. Like maybe that's the future for XRP, but you know, they're not doing that. So you take that with a grain of salt, I guess.
Real kicker. Stablecoins have already leapfrogged XRP. Stablecoins like USDC and USDT are faster, more liquid, and they don't require you to gamble on a volatile asset just to send money. XRP's pitch was cross-border payments, but in 2025, the space is packed. Polygon, Stellar, and even Swift GPI are already doing it better. So why would a bank use XRP with all the volatility, regulation risk, and centralization when they could just use stablecoins or CBDCs? And let's be clear, utility without token demand is useless. So next time someone says banks love XRP, ask them this: how many are holding it on their balance sheet? Spoiler alert, none. And everyone hypes XRP's partnerships and price action, but forget to ask the basic question: how good is the tech really? Spoiler, it's not. XRP Ledger is aging fast. It runs on RPCA, Ripple Protocol Consensus Algorithm. Sounds impressive, but it's totally outdated. There's no sharding, no composability, no smart contracts like Ethereum or Solana, just basic token transfers and IOUs. That might have worked back in 2014, but it's 2025 now. It's like running dial-up in a 5G world. No DeFi, no NFTs, no DAOs, nada. XRP isn't programmable. It's just a fast settlement layer, and even that edge is shrinking. Modern blockchains like Sui, Multiverse X, Near, and Layer 2s like Arbitrum are eating its lunch. They're modular, scalable, and developer-friendly. And XRP's speed comes with trade-offs, centralization, fewer nodes, and weak security assumptions. So the real question isn't, is XRP fast? It's what can you actually do with it? Answer, not much. And
okay, I'm very curious about this. He's not wrong about this. 190 validator nodes on XRP with 35 trusted validators. So Algorand, I believe, just hit like 3,500. But this was a complaint about Algorand too, back in the day. Yeah, so even on their FAQ. Now that was October. That was 2024. This is all right from, XRP scan, even the validator registry. Now this is showing, okay, 1,055 nodes with 190 validators. I don't know what these rippled numbers are. Are these just like versions? There must be versions of the node software or something though. Claudia says, I agree with this guy. I mean, he's making some good points. I think those are points of concern for sure. The first ones I was a little bit skeptical of, but yeah, that's interesting. Okay, let's move on.
Crypto irrelevance kills. Let's be real. XRP doesn't need to crash in order to fail. All it takes is the hype dying out. No regulatory miracle, no Ripple IPO, no sudden shift in bank adoption. And what happens then? Price doesn't implode, it just bleeds. Quietly and slowly. That's what happens to assets with weak fundamentals. They don't explode, they just deflate. Right now,
I don't think that's true. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's true. But look at Solana. Solana has terrible fundamentals. The thing doesn't work half the time. The transactions fail. It's been down in 2014. It was down like 16 times or something like that, or 9 or something, like a bunch of times. Like that's not reliable. And yet, I made profit on it like crazy this cycle again. Now it probably will make more. Here's my thing. Fundamentals in crypto do not matter as much as people think they do, or as much as people wish they did. And I wish they did. I'm a big Algorand fan because I think the fundamentals are good, but it doesn't mean I think it's going to have the best price action compared to other coins. Solana has kicked butt. XRP has kicked butt in price so far. I did really well with Near Protocol. Gosh, what was my best one? Well, Bitcoin was one of my best ones. Sui I did really well with too, and I'm not the biggest fan of Sui anymore. So I understand his point. I just don't think it works like that. It'd be nice if it did. It is hype, and with the hype, if the hype has, what he's right about is if the hype dies down. If the hype dies down, you're in trouble, because that's the whole game. That's the whole game in crypto. And right now, I will tell you, XRP people are some of the most fervent fans. It's one of the strongest communities in crypto, and that is a driving force. You might not like it. You might wish it was different than that, but that's how it is.
Now, XRP is trading just under $3 with 100 billion tokens in existence, and nearly half of that is still waiting to hit the market. That's not bullish. That's a ceiling. And here's the brutal truth. There's almost no new reason to buy XRP. No dev activity, no real institutional demand, no unique tech edge. It's just the same old pitch recycled into the next cycle. So no, I'm not calling for a sudden crash, but I am saying this. We're likely looking at a long, slow slide back toward $1 or lower. Not because of hate, but because at some point, the hype fades and the token has to stand on its own. Here's what's wild. XRP isn't even the worst project in crypto. It's just one of the most misunderstood. It's centralized, inflated, built on promises that no longer hold up, and yet somehow it still pulls in retail investors chasing the same old headlines. But in this market, hype has a shelf life. And smart money has already moved on to Ethereum scaling, to sharding, to secure assets, AI protocols, you name it. So if you're still holding XRP, ask yourself, what's keeping me in this trade? Real fundamentals or just hype? Because the only thing worse than buying a bad token is holding one that's out of fuel. Go ahead and drop a comment below. Agree? Disagree? Still holding? Completely out? I want to hear it. And if you want to see where the real momentum is heading, check out my next video because I'm diving into the evolution of asset structures and where Web3 is destined to go, because narratives fade, but builders, they always win.
Maybe. I think he's could be right. I think we might see that for the next cycle. I think by the next cycle it might fade. Maybe, but it hasn't so far. So I'm very skeptical of this narrative. His criticisms aren't wrong necessarily. I'm trying to see if there's any interesting here's one. Lies. He is jealous of that XRP is one of the best. If you're lucky, Ripple is pushing XRP to be global, plus XRP had some updates. So this is like a really common comment where you don't get really much, you don't get anything super interesting. You know, where's the real argument? I mean, you can say, yeah, it's great. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is the fan base. They just get so excited. What did he say? He just left. Show me one lie. Oh, wait. Yep. That was 6 days ago, so nothing. I'm not worried. I won't sell. Partnership is real. SBI and other strong companies. 1,000 XRP won't break my bank if I got liquidated. However, who are you with 5,000 haters subscribes? You laughable. People just get mad. I mean, they just get mad when you attack their chain. I get it. But this is what I'm talking about. People are like, they're very fervent. They're very, very adamant about how much they love XRP. So 7 minutes of hypotheticals. I don't think he had hypotheticals, but I do. I like I said, I think his criticisms are legit. I just don't think it works out that way because people have been talking trash. Solana had like the worst fundamentals. I mean, they lied. They literally lied about their total supply from day one. This is a chain that Solana had, you know, massive ties to SBF, who also made some lies about it. It's still crushing it, still up. I'm still up. Like if I hadn't bought back in at a higher rate, I would have been up like 10x even now. And I did. I'm in moonbag territory, by the way, so I made money in Solana. It just doesn't work that way. I get his point. I don't think he's wrong. If you believe what you said in your video, then I feel sorry for you. Who paid you for smear propaganda? See, there's nobody can actually. This is the problem. You have prepare for the XRP bot army. Well, I mean, they kind of act like bots sometimes. I mean, you can see a lot of people are attacking, but not really. You know, not really giving an actual good faith criticism, which is what you get on YouTube sometimes. Let's see what this comment said. It's funny. I have the token, got at a very low cost way back when, held all this time waiting for this high return. Lameo. Every time I ask the XRP army groups to tell me how it makes us more money, they just say the same things and funny things, like you said. All the partnerships are not with XRP, it's with Ripple or RLUSD or some other Ripple thing, not XRP. That is the decoupling from XRP and Ripple is kind of interesting. I don't claim to be an expert on that, but it kind of goes back to what I've been saying, where, you know, there's kind of a separation between the blockchain and the coins that run on the blockchain and and kind of what companies want from blockchains. So a lot of times I think they just want the speed and the low costs, but they don't necessarily want the blockchain exposure. One thing I was curious about, and, you know, I'm not sure how I would go about it. It would take a long time to dive into. I don't think I can do it like right here. But I kind of wonder about that balance sheet. He said they have 0 on their balance sheet. I'm not 100% sure about that, if I'm honest. If I'm being honest, I would be surprised if some of those big banks didn't at least hold a little bit of XRP. I mean, they probably got a little bit of a bunch of crypto, right? So saying zero, I don't know if I'd have said that so confidently, but anyway, I'm gonna give the video a like. I like the, you know, I like the chutzpah, you know, I like that he's gonna go out and just call a shot. You know, like I said, I follow him on Twitter. He's a pretty good follow on Twitter. He's got some very interesting things. You can tell I've been watching a lot of pickleball videos too, can't you? XRP Army definitely going to be mad. I thought there'd be more angry comments, to be honest. I was surprised that he didn't get more. XRP Army, they really show up for XRP, which is why I don't know if I'll pick XRP for next cycle. It might fade like Polygon did, but I would still expect more out of XRP this cycle. Let me see. See, now I feel like I gotta look. I'm gonna pull it up off stream, but I want to look at my portfolio. So just give me a second here. Yeah, XRP is my second best performer behind Bitcoin. I'm up 278 or almost 279%. My only better one is Bitcoin. Not adjusted, so this was as of like a week ago, to be fair. So XRP is probably going to be down, but it's not going to be that much down. And I am, yeah, and I'm in Moonbag. Wait, hold on. That's like, oh yeah, I'm in Moonbag territory. I'm $50 over the line for Moonbag, so I still made a ton of money on it. So yeah, I don't know. There's a big decoupling between fundamentals and between price right now. I don't know if that's going to last forever, but that's kind of the way it is right now, no matter how much you wish it was.